Hello students, very warm welcome to this particular session of organization behavior. So in this particular video we will be discussing about what is leadership. So what is leadership? You must have seen that since childhood when you were there in school and you were leading some of the events. So that is an example of leadership whereby people are ready to follow you because you provide that kind of a sense of direction and the sense of belongingness in the team, and they would have perceived you as a leader. So leadership is about coping with change, developing a vision for the future. It is the ability to influence the group of people around you. Why? Towards the achievement of the vision or the set of goals which have been established by the organization or by you as a team. Leadership is often confused with management. These two are different things. So while management is about coping with complexity, leadership is all about coping with the change. One point and the example I like to quote here is when this COVID happened in the year 2020. So the entire leadership of the organization, or leaders as we can say, were put to test. So when this challenge has come, the COVID has come, and then how you will sustenance, because that time it was not about the growth of the organization, but sustenance was vital for the organizations to survive and then come through as winner from this particular ordeal of the COVID scenario. So this was a time those leaders who were kind of capable enough to cope with the change, or the leadership team which was able to set up the strategy, the execution for how do you manage and cope up with this the COVID change, they were able to come out as a winner. So managing is about coping with the complexity. Some task has been given, you need to execute that task and ensure that it is being done. Leadership is about setting up the direction. It's all about setting the priorities and ensuring that it gets followed and it is being delivered. So leadership is a term which we can say very dynamic. Leadership has different forms of leadership are available. So one is autocratic leadership, which means do as I say. So the way the boss says, you have to agree to him or her, and there is no questioning on the authority. You cannot give any inputs, and it's like a dictatorship or being very authoritarian, the power, the authority, and just living up to that power which you have been given or granted by the position. So that is an autocratic leadership. The second type of leadership is a situational leadership. So this kind of leadership says that you work as a leader and then you as per the situation. So sometimes you have to work as a team member. That's the situation demand. Sometimes you have to work like a manager or a leader. You do that. So you change your leadership style as per the situation. Sometimes you may have to have a hard or a harsh stand to the team. Sometimes you have to be very soft to the team. So depending on what the situation is, you will be acting according to that. And that is called as the situational leadership. The next is called as the servant leadership. Again, that's a concept which has come in. So this basically means that when you're working as a leader, it is something that you think that you're working for the team, the organization, and your attitude. It's all about as a servant leader, as they say, the karyakarta for the organization. So, you may have that position, the power, the authority, but the kind of leadership you follow is a servant leadership. So these are some of the three types, we discussed in this video. So now let us, look at the difference between a manager and a leader. So manager, he gives the orders, he or she gives the orders, and that has to be followed by the team. If you look at the leader, it is more of a coaching scenario, or an advisor role, for the team or the people. So that is the leader. The next point about the boss or the manager is he or she depends on the authority. So the way the authority has been telling, and you just depend on the authority and cannot influence beyond his or her authority. And whereas the leader, that person depends on the confidence and the goodwill. So the leader uses his confidence, his goodwill to get the work done. So that's the mark of a leader. Coming back to the manager, endangers fear in the team. So, let us say if it's a sales team, then the manager will say, if you do not achieve the targets, you are bound to lose the job, you will be sacked from the company, all that kind of a negative reinforcement and endangering fear in the minds of the team. So that is the manager when you look at. If you look at the leader on the other side, that person inspires with enthusiasm, the kind of energy he brings onto the table. So that is the mark of a leader. So one on the other side endangers fear, and the other side inspires the enthusiasm. When you look at the manager, he's going to kind of behave as if every answer is available to him. But when you look at a leader, in case the leader thinks that this particular piece of question which has come up needs a kind of introspection, he's going to research, he's going to consult, he's going to seek advice and like that, and then only will be providing the information to the team members. So in the one scenario, the manager behaves like I know it all, and whereby the leader says, I know a bit of that, and definitely yes, you're an expert, but then in case I need to take somebody's consultation, if I need to be taking the help of somebody, I will, without any kind of me being that, okay, I'm the leader. So that thing does not come into the mind of the leader. The next thing is the manager, looks at his own achievements, and here the word I is very prominent. I want to achieve this at any cost, whether my team suffers or not, I don't care. So that kind of not a caring attitude, and believes in only I and me and myself. So I, me and myself, that's it. The entire world, stops for a manager there. On the other hand, when we look at the leader, he believes in the words like we will do it. Together we will do it. And for inspiring the team members, you can do it. One way would be, I believe that you can do it. I believe that we will do it. So the word I is removed here, and it is all about collaboration. It is about joining hands together and then delivering onto the results. So you can see there's a kind of how much of a contrast is there between the manager and the leader. So what happens is sometimes when the things do not go the right manner or the right way, the manager is ready, or the first person to kind of put the blame onto the team. You were wrong, you failed, and that is why the team failed, like that. So very kind of ready to throw the blame, put the blame onto the other team member and finding the faults. And when we look at a leader, basically it is about solving problems. Okay, so this problem has come, what are the ways in which we can solve the problem. So again, remove the I here. So how we can solve the problem? Let's sit together and solve the problem. There's a small story that when our president, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was a kind of the mission director and or a manager kind of for the launching a satellite vehicle, and at that time the chairperson who was there, or who was the head of the ISRO, when this the satellite launch basically failed, then as a leader, or so you can say the leader of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he faced the media and answered all the questions. Why did it fail? What were the reasons? So as a leader, he took all the blame onto himself when there was a failure of the rocket or that satellite launch being failed. On the other hand, after say around 1 year, when again a new launch vehicle was developed and the flight was successful. That thing went very fine. Then, as a leader, the head of the organization said to late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, "You may please address the press and tell them that we are successful." So you can imagine that the leaders, they do not put the blame to their team members. Ultimately, the leadership is, it reaches to them. They are the leader for that project, or they are the leader for that team, or they are leader for their own business unit, or their even team, for us to say. So the failures, that is what a true leader takes onto himself. And when the success is there, he or she gives the credit to his team members. So that's one of the major difference between a manager and a team leader. So students, this is there for in this today's session. We will continue more discussing about organization behavior in the subsequent videos and the sessions. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.